Former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman worked on the Senate Judiciary Committee Council. He joins me now. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Julie, for having me.
So the Michigan Court of Claims judge who first got this case said that state law doesn't give election officials any leeway to police the eligibility of presidential primary candidates. He also said that the case raised a political question that shouldn't be decided in the courts. Why wasn't this the case in Colorado?
Julie, Colorado is a different dynamic. The state actually does have a provision that requires that the state certify through the candidate that they are eligible to run. It's nuanced, but it still shouldn't have mattered because you're applying the Constitution, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, and the reality is you don't even get to that question. I'm waiting for the Supreme Court to actually be the adult in the room, come in and say, hey, all of you that are clamoring and stretching the law in ways that it's not meant to be, here's what this provision means.
Mm-hmm.
It was articulated to prevent officers of the Civil War from running for office when they led the insurrection against the United States. I mean, that's plain and simple. It's never been applied in the manner that it is now. And it's a radical effort from the left to keep Donald Trump off the ballot box.
The Colorado Supreme Court's decision, as you know, to kick Trump off its primary ballot has been paused pending an appeal. So with these two decisions, you know, in Colorado and now most recently in Michigan, the expected appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court becomes even more critical, especially with the nation's 2024 primaries around the corner. So what say you as far as the timeliness of all of this? Does the Supreme Court come out with a decision sooner than later? Will we be getting that word sometime this week? Because a decision needs to be made, especially with the primaries.
Yeah, Julie, you hit an important issue. Obviously, when you have two Supreme Courts that are on opposite positions on a question of law, then the Supreme Court is obligated to step in and to solve that distinction. But what's different here is that the Supreme Court could simply not decide whether to take the case or not. If they do that and they hold off and they wait to see what happens on this legal landscape, President Trump will still be on the ballot in Colorado. So the Supreme Court was very, very wishy-washy when it came to what they were actually doing. They indicated that while the Supreme Court decides, he remains on the ballot.
Interesting. So, I mean, a delay is what the Trump campaign wants. And so
they want either a win or a delay.
Exactly.
That's right.
Well, of course they want to win first. But if they're not going to get a decision anytime soon, that doesn't hurt them. Unlike in Colorado, though, the Michigan courts rejected the case wholly on procedural grounds. So they never actually reached the questions of whether January 6th was an insurrection and whether Trump engaged in it. The point here is this, that there is still an ongoing trial. OK, and when you go to trial, typically, this is how this works in the legal system, the justice system, you get convicted. You are either found guilty or you're found not guilty. There has been no conviction. Therefore, he has not been found guilty. So it does beg the question why any state should have a say whether Trump is eligible to be a candidate based on a trial that has not ended.
I think, Julie, your analysis was more on the mark than any of the Supreme Courts so far that have decided the issue. It's very simple. Take a look at this and say to yourself, do you have a candidate that we have a finding of insurrection? We don't even have a charge of insurrection yet. He has multiple criminal cases against him. None of them touch the issue of insurrection. And I think you nailed it, Julie. This is where we're at in this country. It's a political, machinery that's been put into place to just prevent one candidate from being on the ballot.
Right. I got to move on to the White House and Democrats now, as much as I would love to talk about this further. The liberal media obviously has been very quick to slam the Republican impeachment inquiry into President Biden. But Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is defending it. He also identified the key information that they're pursuing in their case. Watch.
The American people know something stinks here, and that's going to be a problem for Joe Biden moving forward. Not only are his policies a disaster, but the American people think he's a crook. The most important amount of documentation that we need are those pseudonym emails. We found that Joe Biden was using at least 3 fake names on government emails. What we didn't know until recently was that he was in fact using those pseudonym emails to communicate with not just his son, Hunter Biden, but also with his shady business associates.
Just think about this for a second. You've got some dozen states in the United States that are actually considering removing President Trump, the former president, from their primary ballots. But yet you've got the current sitting president who's currently going under an impeachment inquiry, and no concern there. Just dust it away and tuck it under the rug.
Well, that's right, Julie. Think about the tax case against Hunter Biden, and I raise that because I've been a federal prosecutor for about a decade. I worked on these kinds of cases. An entire half of the investigation into those tax problems is missing. The investigation on the sourcing of the funds would have revealed Joe Biden's involvement, and it would have revealed the flow of money. Comer is having to do that with a very blunt tool, the use of the Congress, but he's doing it and he's exposing it. So when Trump was impeached, we had the media saying there was all kinds of wrongdoing, and the impeachment went forward, and then we learned there was no facts and no substance to back it up. Here, we have the media saying there's nothing here, but we are now starting to see all of the facts supporting and backing it up. We are living in that bizarro world where up is down and down is up, and we have to try to just continue to slug through it. I applaud the Congress. I hope one day a DOJ will step up and do what it needs to do in order to investigate and root out this corruption. It's vast.
Yeah. Bizarro world. Yeah, that's putting it lightly. Okay. Crazy town. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming on. Former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman, great to see you.
Thanks, Julie.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.